I think you got it, brother. You did it. Good job.
What's up, hey, Matt?
Hey, brother. How's it going?
Good, bro. Working my ass off, trying to get everything done so I can get out of here.
Yeah. You got plans.
Yeah, man, I wanted to get over there like 4 or 5 days before. I met a lady over there that she's gonna let me stay in her barn, and I wanted to, do something for the community over there.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, just so I get this thing going right here, it says I press more. Or you can control it. You can control the thing now, right? I can give you control.
No, because I don't have a very solid internet connection.
All right, what I did, it says live on Facebook. So I'll do it 10 minutes before we go in there.
Okay. Now look and see if there's anybody else that tried to get on the call. Is there anybody else that's with us?
Just the two of us.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's just two of us.
That's true. How can we share it on Facebook? So people, right now we should be putting it on Facebook.
It's a little early to put it on Facebook unless you're ready to start the call.
Well, no, it's just to tell them, hey, join us at 9 p.m.
Oh, I can do that right now.
Please, so awesome. And Matt, to pay for Zoom, what I gotta do? Just like we came into the account, or?
To pay for Zoom, we got to log in and put your credit card in there.
But like at the beginning when I log in, right?
Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay.
All right.
So we're gonna go with the big book today? Or did you go with the little book last time?
Yeah.
Which one, the little one?
Yep.
Ah, you like it, don't you?
Well, it's definitely more concise.
It's more simple, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Unless they have the book in front of them. So it's chapter 6, personal initiative. So what did you get through on the last poll?
I got through it all.
You did it all?
Yeah. I mean, I got cut off, so I made it short, but I covered the main topics of initiative and leadership. I wanted to get through the entire chapter, so I cut it short.
Yeah, so then what are we going to do tonight?
But yeah, tonight we can just keep going on it.
I know, but how far did you get into the chapter?
I got all the way into initiative and leadership. I discussed all of the points.
This book? Okay.
Yep. I discussed all of the points.
Without having to read anything?
Pretty much. I mean, I had to read some stuff. In the beginning, I read more.
So you don't want to go with the big book tonight then?
Yeah, let's go with the big book.
All right.
We'll get the big book down. Baby.
The only thing with this is when it comes to stories, because the stories can take a lot of time. Oh, I guess we can do it. We can do it. We can just do it.
Who said it could not be done, and what great victories has he to his credit which qualify him to judge others accurately?
Yeah, that's what I say.
Lesson 4.
You know, I've been doing a lot of posts on the 16 lessons. And
Yeah.
then I see how you do some posts not related to Napoleon Hill. And then I notice the amount of people that link on my fucking post. And that post kicks my ass. So I don't know what to say, buddy. I was going to tell you that let's just keep stuff for Napoleon Hill. You did a post there, and that post got like 229 likes.
Which one?
It's a picture with some guy named San or something.
I don't know.
The last post that you did.
Huh. Let me look.
So I'm getting more involved now, bro. I'm just reading it in the morning, and I want to do 10 things of the things that pique my interest as I read each chapter. And then we have all that shit in there as we do week by week. So when they look at the videos and they can see stuff with initiative and leadership, and we can go back 2-3 months down the road and go right to that point, bro.
Yeah. If we label them correctly.
I haven't labeled the videos. You're right. But it's during that week anyway. Yeah, you're right. I need to label them correctly.
Oh boy, you got a lot of posts on here.
Right. Just little ones. It's all Napoleon Hill. As I read, the thing that piques my interest, I just put it in there. So the goal will be now to just go through the book and just fill it up with stuff. Believe me, bro, people are sharing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, few here and there. We got 1,800, almost 1,900 likes. That's freaking awesome.
Oh, by Kevin Trudeau.
Yes.
It's not 214 likes.
How many? What you got? Well, you got some engagement.
14 engagements.
How many likes?
4.
That's
5.
it?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was more than that.
It said 214 people have been reached.
Oh, okay, reach.
It tells you how many people your posts reach, I think.
Right. So what's up with Andre? You talked to Andre?
No, I sent him a message. I said, Hugo told me about it. We're all good, brother.
Excellent, bro. I'm so glad we're doing all these videos, bro, that we pay for this thing. When we talk to the person talking comes into the camera.
Yeah.
It's
That
just,
yellow highlighter around your frame means that it's listening to you and you're on screen, you're on camera.
very cool. So I'm sitting here, bro, this week. I did a good job last week, and I paid all my bills. And it's funny how fucking money goes, bro. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
it goes quick.
And then I'm again like, man, I don't have enough to get up there. Not enough to get up there. I know I want to make it there and back, but I wanted to have some cash in my hand so I don't have to worry about what the hell I'm spending.
Right. Yeah, I hear you there.
I got that email today telling me how the thing is. Basically, they have two speakers. And then Don Green speaks every day from 3 to 5 o'clock. They have a mastermind.
3 to 5 o'clock, they have a mastermind?
Well, every day is 3 days, and it starts at 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning until 5 o'clock. So then they have a speaker every day. They have two speakers, so I guess it's from 9 to 12. And then you go to lunch, and then they have something from 1 to 2, and then from 3 to 5, Don Green speaks every day. Then on the second day, they take you out to a restaurant that's supposed to be 60 miles from where it is. So I guess they take you by Napoleon Hill's birthplace and stuff like that. Then they go out to eat. And on the third day is when you're supposed to dress up, and that's when you get your certificate and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Is everybody going, or?
I don't know who's going. The class was only 16 people, so I don't really know. Maybe it's other people that go there just because I really don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So I was like very excited a month ago when I was getting all this shit done, and now I'm like kind of unwinding from it, and I should not be. I keep texting Don Green, but I really wanted to get there a few days before so I can go to the Hill Foundation and talk to him in person.
I'm playing with my Zoom.
How do you do that?
I'm playing with my webcam controller.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's a good thing, bro. If you put that thing in back of you, I was gonna say that. Too close. Move the panel in the back closer to you. There you go, boss man. There you go. I like that.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Because it doesn't look professional. I mean, I know that my background is not the best either, bro. I don't know where else to go sit down.
The kids love playing on that whiteboard.
Thank you, Matt. Bro, we are big dreamers. Tell you what. What's up with Andre?
I don't know.
Hello, Rico.
How are you, sir?
Not so bad.
All right.
And you?
Good, good. Just checking up on you. Checking up on you.
I got a big day. I move a friend, and I just finished.
All right.
So we go to the call or we don't go to the call?
Yeah, we are. We are on the call. I just want to double check with you.
On the Zoom?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna try to.
You know, you can always dial the number.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at home. Because with internet, it takes me a lot of juice.
Yeah, just call the number.
I think if he calls the number, he won't be able to talk.
Oh, is that right?
I think.
Oh, I'm sure he can talk.
Usually I connect myself. It's okay. I'm gonna be okay.
Thank you, Andre.
I am suffers for that. Even the car again, goddamn. Hillary, life is good. Never give up, goddamn. I'm gonna try to fix that with you.
All right.
It's a new number, or is the same number we got usually?
Same number.
Okay, it's supposed to go right away. All right, I'm gonna go see that.
See you soon.
I'm gonna be there.
Bye.
I'm not there. I'm gonna text you and I'm gonna go on Facebook.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right, so now I just want to go on Facebook and try to go live. You don't go live until you do it, right?
Right. When you're ready to go live, just, what is it? 3 little hash marks where it says more.
Yes, I did it.
And then it should say Facebook Live or something.
Yes.
Okay.
And live on YouTube. We never thought about doing YouTube.
Yeah. There's more audience on Facebook. We don't have a YouTube following.
Right. This is a good thing, Matt. If we can just start with the people that we have.
Yeah.
And test out the whole thing without, getting outside the fucking box.
Right.
See what the Napoleon Hill has to offer, bro. Or who's going to join us on our cause.
Nine minutes.
This is a good thing, but we can have our mastermind 30 minutes before we get into the call. Just up by us talking is a good thing.
Yeah. Where?
I like it. Initiation. We're gonna go kind of like we do, paragraph by paragraph.
Okay.
And if you feel like you want to take a couple more paragraphs, go at it. Because there's going to be a couple of stories there.
Yeah.
And we're going through all this material again, bro.
I know Ashley, she's interested in studying the laws of success. So people that come looking for this call are looking for the laws of success, I think.
When I come down from whatever in one of these fucking houses, hell, I'm gonna take a plane up there. What you got up there? The Ford plant in Michigan.
Yeah, we got the Ford plant up here in Michigan.
That's worth going to go see.
I don't know if they do tours or not. I'd be interested in going.
They have the old place where they have Thomas Edison's
I know
shop.
they got the Henry Ford Museum. I know that.
Right. Personal initiative. Personal initiative. Personal initiative. Personal initiative. Personal initiative is the inner power that starts all action. It is the power that inspires the completion of that which once began. It's like the dynamo that starts the faculty of imagination into action. It is in fact self-motivation. Motivation is that which induces action. It provides a motive. I think a motive is the inner urge only within you, which incites you to action. On the good note, I'm almost done with that house, with the brown house.
Oh yeah.
Fucking A, man. There's gonna be 2 houses done.
That's great.
Yep.
Then there will be a windfall of money.
I can't wait, bro. And that's when I'm gonna really get tested.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Things get.
You'd be high on the horse for a month.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be another house to jump on right away.
You better plan on eating hot dogs and macaroni and cheese.
But the money's there too, right?
Yeah.
I like that one, bro. Don't touch that fucking thing. I'm gonna let my stepson take care of it. He's a little tight like a bitch.
Yeah.
My stepson, yeah. I'm like what's going on the page and everything, bro.
What's that?
I like what's going on the Napoleon Hill page.
Yeah.
You know, all the time that we let us sit there idle, now we're getting involved.
Yeah, it's definitely live. I mean, people like seeing current content. They like it when they can watch videos too, I think.
Yep. I've been doing it every morning.
Oh, wow.
I have been.
I don't even know where my mornings go.
Oh yeah, they pass you by.
Yep.
All right, 2 minutes.
2 minutes, we're going live.
Dude, we don't have an introduction thing. Bye. 8:58, 1 minute. You sure it's when you hit live on Facebook, it goes automatically, or then you have to press something else?
You have to press something else.
So I'm gonna do it now then.
All right, go ahead.
Preparing live streaming preview. All right, I'm ready to go live. Let's do it. You there, Matt?
I'm there.
Instead of setting up your webinar for Facebook Live.
Is it working?
Done. Redirecting to Facebook Live. Let's do it.
Welcome everybody to the Law of Success in 16 Lessons Facebook live stream. We're here with Hugo De La Torre. My name is Matt Castle, and we are enthusiasts of the Laws of Success in 16 Lessons. Tonight we're discussing initiative and leadership, and that's law number 4 of the Laws of Success in 16 Lessons. It's preceded by a definite chief aim, which we all must have. It's also preceded by the law of self-confidence and the habit of saving. Now, this is the 4th law of success, so it must be pretty darn important if it's up there at the top. So initiative and leadership is what we're discussing tonight. For those of you that don't know, Napoleon Hill was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie to study the richest men in the world. And as he studied the richest men of the world, he came to identify common threads that made these men successful. Now, Andrew Carnegie wanted this knowledge and information to live on forever, so he commissioned Napoleon Hill to write a book. And that's where the Law of Success in 16 Lessons comes from. The reason we study it is because it's full of knowledge and information that is timeless and is true and never changes. So with that, I'll introduce Hugo. Welcome.
Good evening, folks. My name is Hugo De La Torre, and I'm calling here from sunny South Florida. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Initiative and leadership. You ready to rock and roll?
I'm ready.
All right. So, before we proceed to master of this lesson, we're going to direct your attention to the fact that this whole laws of success are coordination, and they're running through this course. They're all coordinated with each other, and we're going to see how they're harmonized with each other and how they blend with each other, because it constitutes like a perfect link chain, and all the factors have to be developed in order to create this power through organized effort.
Well, we'll also observe that the same fundamental principles of applied psychology form the foundation of each of these 15 lessons, although different application is made of these principles in each of the lessons.
Yes, that's right. This lesson on initiative and leadership follows a lesson on self-confidence, for the reason that none of us can become an efficient leader or take initiative in any great undertaking without first believing in thyself.
And initiative and leadership are associated terms in this lesson for the reason that leadership is essential for the attainment of success. Now, initiative being the very foundation upon which this necessary quality of leadership is built, initiative is essential to success as a hub is essential to a wagon wheel. And what is initiative, Hugo?
Well, initiative is this rare quality that prompts, no, let me rephrase that word, impels a person to do what ought to be done without somebody else telling you to do so. And this Albert Herbert expressed himself on the subject of initiative in these words.
The world bestows its big prizes, both in money and honors, for one thing, and that is initiative.
So what is initiative then? I'll tell you, it's doing the right thing without somebody else telling you to do. That's initiative.
Haha, but next to doing the right thing without being told is to do it when you are told once. That is to say, carry the message to Garcia. Those who can carry a message get high honors, but their pay is not always in proportion.
Right. Next you have there are those who do the right thing only when necessity kicks you in the butt. And what happens is those people get indifference instead of honors because they end up getting a pennies for pay.
This kind spent most of the time polishing a bench with a hard luck story.
You know, but there's still some that are lower down the scale than this. You know, we have this fellow who will not do the right thing, even when someone goes along to show him how to stay and to see that he does it. And those people are always out of a job. All they get in compensation, all they receive is content. Unless there's those few, you know, that their power is rich and their destiny was predetermined for them. But we don't want to be that kind of person, do we?
No. To which class do we belong is the question, inasmuch as we will be expected to take inventory of ourselves and determine which of the 15 factors of this course we need most. After we have completed the 15 lesson, it may be well if we begin to get ready for this analysis by answering the question that Albert Hubbard has asked. To which class do you belong?
You know, one of the things about leadership is the fact that it's never found on those who have not acquired the habit of taking initiative. Because you see, leadership is something that you have to invite yourself. It's never going to be trusted upon you. And if you carefully analyze all leaders, you see that they all exercise initiative. They all went with a definite purpose in mind. And they all possess the quality of what we learned in the last chapter, self-confidence. You got to have self-confidence.
These facts are mentioned in this lesson for a reason, that it will profit us to observe that successful people make use of all the factors covered by the 15 lessons of the course. And for the more important reason, that it will profit us to understand thoroughly the principle of organized effort, which this reading course is intended to establish in your mind.
Now, I'm going to tell you what, this seems an appropriate place to state in this course is not intended for whoever is here that you're going to get rich in 3 months, or that this is a shortcut to success. Nor is it intended to be like a mechanical formula of noteworthy achievement if you think that there's going to be no effort in your part. The real value of this course is in the use that we will have to make ourselves, and not the course itself. The chief purpose of the course is to help us develop within ourselves these qualities, these 15 lessons of the course. And one of the most important one, if not the most important one, is that you got to have initiative, because you got to start it on your own.
Yep. And we'll proceed to the principle upon which this lesson is founded by describing in detail just how it serves successfully to complete a business transaction, which most people would call difficult.
You know, back in 1916, this is a good thing to bring about now, as we're going to go deal with the Hill Foundation. You know, we needed $25,000, to which he created an educational institution. And he didn't have the money. He didn't have collateral to borrow from the source. So do you think that he just sat there and said, well, my fate is done. I'm not going to get the money from some rich relative or some good Samaritan out there. How am I going to get the loan necessary or the capital to start this thing? He never sat there and pitied himself. He did nothing of the sort.
Well, he did just what we'll be advised to do throughout this course. First of all, he made the securing of this capital his definite chief aim.
I like that.
Yeah. Then he made a complete plan through which to transform this aim into reality. He backed it by sufficient self-confidence and spurred it on by initiative. He proceeded to put his plan into action, but before the action stage of the plan had been reached, more than 6 weeks of constant, persistent study and effort and thought were embodied in it. If a plan is to be sound, it must be built of carefully chosen material.
Love it. Carefully chosen material. And we're going to also observe the application of the principle of organized effort through the operation of which is possible for us to ally ourselves with people that have the same interest in a way that each of us, all of our interests are greatly strengthened. And by a mastermind alliance like we have here, just like that link chains that we talked about at the beginning of the call, which makes it a chain.
And our author wanted $25,000 in capital for the purpose of creating a school of advertising and salesmanship. Now, 2 things were necessary for the organization of such a school. One was the 25 grand, which he didn't have, and the other was the proper course of instruction, which he did have. Now, his problem was to ally himself with some group of men who needed that which he had and who would supply the 25 grand. This alliance had to be made through a plan that would benefit all concerned.
And after he had the plan completed and he was satisfied with it, he laid it before the owner of a business college. It just so happened that at the time, the college needed such a place. And but this is about how he presented it.
His plan was presented in about these words. He says, whereas you have one of the most reputable business colleges in the city, and whereas you need some plan with which to meet the stiff competition in your field, and whereas your good reputation has provided you with all the credit you need, and whereas I have the plan that will help you meet this competition successfully, be it resolved that we ally ourselves through a plan that will give you that which you need and at the same time supply with something that I need. Ashley.
Sorry, man. Sorry, I'm very slow on this technology, so forgive me if I didn't put it in the call you earlier. I just realized I'm at. Forgive me.
Everybody's here.
Yeah, just arrived.
Very nice, very nice.
You don't tuck in the wind, gentlemen.
So we were talking about initiative and leadership, and we are on page 205 in the good book.
That's great.
Ashley, do you have the laws of success with you?
I do.
So you can pull up page 205 on initiative and leadership.
In my book is page 173.
Oh, really?
The same books.
We got 2 different books. This is mine. I don't know which one Hugo has.
I have the old one.
I have a PDF copy, so.
Everybody has a different thing, but if you go to the chapter of initiative and leadership, we're just getting started. We're only on the 2nd page. And Ashley, I wanted to just say this, Ashley. Please try to understand what we're trying to do here. Not the sharpest knife in the block. You're going to see that it is about going through the laws of success, but we don't want to be reading, because just reading kind of it just does it kind of becomes fair enough.
Fair enough.
But I do want you to see. Hold on, let me take my. I hear an echo.
So we just got to the point in the book where our author had presented a plan. He had the necessary skills to teach a class, but he needed 25 grand, and he needed to ally himself with the people that needed his expertise, and that's where we're at in the book. He says he then proceeded to unfold his plan further in these words. He says, I have written a very practical course on advertising and salesmanship. Having built this course out of my actual experience in training and directing salesmen, in my experience in planning and directing many successful advertising campaigns, I have back of it plenty of evidence of its soundness.
Yes. And before that statement was the way that he went about telling the person that he needed to sell the course was, whereas you have a business college in the city, and whereas you have some plans with which to meet the stiff competition in your field, and whereas your good reputation has provided you with all the credit that you need, and whereas Napoleon Hill had the plans to which they can meet the competition. The goal is to present that like that to whatever business plans that you have. This is a great thing because one of our goals here at the Laws of Success is to associate ourselves with the Health Foundation. So this kind of puts an idea in our mind. Forgive me, Matt. I went around the other corner. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you will use your credit in helping market this course, I will place it in your business college as one of the regular departments of your curriculum and take entire charge of this newly created department. So our author was willing to take charge of this newly created department. He put his life on the line, of course. No other business college in the city will be able to meet your competition for the reason that no other college has such a course as this. The advertising that was done in marketing this course will serve also to stimulate the demand for your regular business course. You may charge the entire amount that you spend for this advertising to my department, and the advertising bill will be paid out of that department, leaving you the accumulative advantage that will accrue to your other departments without cost to you.
Pretty cool stuff. Now you wonder how Napoleon Hill was going to profit by that transaction. Well, when he entered into the contract, which they agreed upon, there was a cash receipt from the department that equaled the amount that had to be paid for those advertisements. And everything after that was profit. And what happened with this is that after just over 6 months of doing the course had already paid for the advertisement and everything related through it. And more than this, he got to put his name on top of the name of the class. And that got him his start.
Yep, the plan was agreeable and the contract was closed. Now, keep in mind that the definite purpose was to secure the use of $25,000 for which he had no security to offer.
Pretty cool stuff. Again, in less than a year, not 6 months, I'm sorry, the money was paid. And all the other expenses related to the operation of that department. While the department had collected and turned back to the college in tuition fees, the sum of what the college has spent on starting that class. And then what happened, he just took the department over, and that created a business. And not only based on the term of the contract, the college got to have a new course to give their students, and Napoleon Hill got to prosper.
As a matter of fact, the newly created department not only served to attract students for other departments of the college, but at the same time, the tuition fees collected through this new department were sufficient to place it in a self-sustaining basis before the end of the first year.
So now we can see how the college did not loan him any money or any capital. But nevertheless, it supplied him with a credit which served him exactly the same purpose that he needed. He just needed the money.
He said that his plan was founded upon equity, Hugo, that it contemplated a benefit to all parties concerned. The benefit accruing to him was the use of the $25,000, which resulted in established and self-sustaining business by the end of the first year. The benefit accruing to the college was the students secured for its regular commercial and business course as a result of the money spent in advertising his department. All advertising having been done under the name of the college.
And today, the business college is one of the most successful schools of its kind, and it stands as a monumental to the soundness which demonstrates what you can do when you ally yourself with others.
Yeah, this incident has been related, not alone because it shows the value of initiative and leadership, but for the reason that it leads up to the subject covered by the next lesson of this reading course on the laws of success, which is imagination.
Yeah. There are many plans through the operation of which a desired object may be achieved. And it often happens to be truth that is obvious and the methods employed by some people are not the best. But a usual method or procedure in the case that we just related would have been that he would go to a bank and borrow the money. But you see, these methods, it was impractical in that case for the reason that he didn't have no collateral available. And I want to stop here for a second and just say that the idea to go through the law of success is just to come up with one idea, one single idea. So as we read this thing, your mind should be coming up for that one idea. One idea is all you need.
Yeah, one idea for your definite chief aim is all you need. But our author doesn't recall who this philosopher was, but he knows that he was great because of the soundness of his statement. This great philosopher once said, "Initiative is the passkey that opens the door to opportunity." And let me stop there and build on that. Initiative is the passkey that opens the door to opportunity. If you don't put forth your best foot forward, then opportunities aren't going to be there for you. I know that I can drive around my car all day and not get out of my car to go in and talk to people to make a sale. But when I get out of my car, it's showing the initiative, get out of my car and to go talk to somebody. And that opens the door to opportunity. So the opportunity is out there. We just have to go and knock on the door.
Well, you know, before we proceed with an outline to a procedure that's going to follow us to make us a person that has initiative and leadership, then let's just open up the call right now and see if Andrea asks you want to share a thought real quick.
Oh, well, concerning idea and initiative, oh, well, I got a diploma on that. Initiative with an idea is when people say yes and when people say no. When they say no, you have to work harder. When they say yes, you have to fulfill what is possible to do each day to make your client happy and find the good company, enterprise, or people around you to finish your idea. Because to put an idea on the market, it's a lot of money, it's a lot of work, and it's worth nothing until it is on a tablet or selling by million by the internet. So yeah, but for one idea, I think I got the 500,000 no. But I just need one guy to say yes. Help me to finish it correctly, and I have to show him his profit, you know. And if he say yes, and I show him his profit, he gonna go on it. And really big conglomerate, big enterprise corporation, when they say yes, it's an happy day in your life. It's a big happy day in your life. But you have to handle the no, because the no is, well, you live with the no a lot. And don't get discouraged. Have personal initiative. And you have to make a good budget. Huh? For that, the habit of saving is so important. And don't be discouraged when people say no. If you believe in your product, somebody gonna take it one day and you're gonna sell it like you want. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Andre.
I like that, Andre. I got a diploma on initiative. That's really funny. I think for myself, when it comes to initiative and going back to, and I'm sure the next chapter they were talking about imagination, but I think that there's a lot of really great ideas, and part of making these ideas that come to mind a reality is taking action, and that is what initiative is all about. And so I know in my personal life, I really enjoy what you're saying, Andre, about getting used to the no, and eventually there'll be a yes. I know for myself, that's something that I'm learning. And I think the 2 chapters ago on self-confidence and auto-suggestion is really helpful in creating, affirmations to say to myself so that I don't make rejection mean something. So knowing that a no will result in a yes, and that my services are a contribution to others, and keeping a definite chief aim and purpose in mind as I keep moving towards assisting and contributing, and going towards my main goal. I know that's the main thing. So I think with initiative, it's really important whenever an inspired idea comes in, exactly what Hugo was mentioning, it's important to take action.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. 4 paragraphs after where we're going to say right now, there's a quote there where it says initiative and leadership. And then there is a formula there, and we should have copied and pasted somewhere along our house. But I wonder if you can see that, Ashley.
Sorry?
If you look in your book, and if you're following what we're saying, we're going to come up to a point where in big bold letters, it says initiative and leadership. And
Okay.
underneath it, there's a copy of a formula. And what we like for you to do is, if you may share that with us. But just hold on a second before we get there. We're going to proceed with an outline with the exact procedure that we must follow if we are to become a person of initiative and leadership.
Well, we must first master the habit of procrastination, Hugo. We got to eliminate it from our makeup. This habit of putting off until tomorrow that which we should have done last week or last year or a score of years ago is gnawing at the very vitals of our being, and we can accomplish nothing until we throw it off.
Now, the method through which we're going to eliminate procrastination is based on a well-known is a tested principle of psychology. And we have been referring to it too many times now. You got to get this word understood, auto-suggestion, what you suggest to yourself over and over and over and over.
And we come up on this formula, and we need to have this formula conspicuously placed in our room where we will see it as we retire at night and as we arise in the morning.
So is it me next?
You got it, dude.
Okay, having chosen a definite chief aim as my life work, I now understand it to be my duty to transform this purpose into reality. Therefore, I will form the habit of taking some definite action each day that will carry me one step nearer the attainment of my definite chief aim. I know that procrastination is a deadly enemy of all who would become leaders in my undertaking, and I will eliminate this habit from my makeup by doing some one definite thing each day that ought to be done without anyone telling me to do it. Looking around until I find at least one thing that I can do each day that I have not been in the habit of doing and that will be of value to others without expectation of pay. Telling at least one other person each day of the value of practicing this habit of doing something that ought to be done without being told to do it. I can see that the muscles of the body become strong in proportion to the extent to which they are used. Therefore, I understand that the habit of initiative also becomes fixed in proportion to the extent that it is practiced. I realize that the place to begin developing the habit of initiative is in the small, commonplace things connected with my daily work. Therefore, I will go at my work each day as if I were doing it solely for the purpose of developing this necessary habit of initiative. I understand that by practicing this habit of taking the initiative in connection with my daily work, I will not only develop that habit, but I will also be attracting the attention of those who will place greater value on my services as a result of this practice. Signed, Hugo, Matt, Ashley, and Andre.
Yeah, that's right.
And everyone else in the universe.
Wow.
You. Great stuff. Yeah.
Regardless of what we are now doing, every day brings us face to face with a chance to render some service. and that service being outside the course of our regular duties that will be of value to others. Now, in rendering this additional service of our own accord, we of course can understand that we are not doing so with the object of receiving monetary pay. We are rendering the service because it provides us with ways and means of exercising, developing, and making stronger the aggressive spirit of initiative, which we must possess before we can ever become an outstanding figure in the affairs of our chosen field of life work.
You got that right. You know those people that work for just for money, and they receive it for pay, nothing but money. You know, those people will always be on their pay, no matter how much they receive. Because you see, money is necessary, but the big price of life cannot be measured in monies and dollars alone. This is where you grow, Ashley. Whenever you feel froggy, jump. If you see what we're doing. Are you there, Matt?
Yep, I'm here. You know, no amount of money could possibly be made to take the place of the happiness and joy and pride that belong to the person who digs a better ditch, or builds a better chicken coop, or sweeps a cleaner floor, or cooks a better meal. Every normal person loves to create something that is better than the average. The joy of creating a work of art is a joy that cannot be replaced by money or any other form of material possession.
Agree. You know, a lot of times when we come into the laws of success, it's a lot of big points, but then it becomes storytelling too. You know, Napoleon Hill once had a young lady who answered much of his personal mail. And she began with him, let's say 3 years before that happened. And what happened in her 30s, from just taking dictation from his, when he was at, which she asked him to do, how can I explain it? She moved up in the ladder of success within the company, yet her pay still stayed the same. And one day, he asked her to write this statement for him.
Remember that your only limitation is the one that you set up in your own mind. Now, as she handed the typewritten page back to him, she said, "Your motto has given me an idea that is going to be of value to both you and me."
You know, he told her that he was glad to have been of service to her, and that the incident made no particular impression on his mind. But from that day, well, let me say, this is her, forgive me. You know, forgive me, Matt, go ahead. Finish the story.
Well, he told her he was glad to have been of service to her. Now, the incident made no particular impression on his mind, but from that day on, he could see that it had made a tremendous impression on her mind. She began to come back to the office after supper and perform service that she was neither paid for nor expected to perform. Without anyone telling her to do it, she began to bring to my desk letters that she had answered for me. She had studied my style, and these letters were attended to as well as I could have done it. In some instances, much better. She kept up this habit until my personal secretary resigned. When he began to look for someone to take his place, what was more natural than to turn to this young woman to fill the place?
Amen.
Before he had time to give her the position, she took it on her initiative. His personal mail began to come to his desk with a new secretary's name attached, and she was that secretary. On her own time, after hours, without additional pay, she had prepared herself for the best position on his staff.
But that's not all. That lady became so noticeable and so efficient that she began to attract the attention of others who offered her attractive positions. Now, he increased her salary many times, but now she received more than 4 times the amount that she had received when she was working for him. And in truth, it didn't matter to him, because she's seen it working in herself such a value that the people cannot get along without her.
Now that's initiative transformed into practical, understandable terms. I would be remiss in my duties if I failed to direct your attention to an advantage, other than a greatly increased salary, that this young lady's initiative has brought her. It has developed her in a spirit of cheerfulness that brings her happiness, which most stenographers never know. Her work is not work. It is a great, interesting game at which she is playing. Even though she arrives at the office ahead of the regular stenographers and remains there long after they have watched the clock tick off 5 o'clock and quitting time, her hours are shorter by far than are those of the other workers. Hours of labor do not drag on the hands of those who are happy at their work.
Let me repeat that statement. Hours of labor do not drag on the hands of those who are happy at their work. And this brings us up to the next description of the exact procedure that we must follow to develop this thing of initiative and leadership. And the time is 9:35. Would you guys like to share a thought?
Yeah, very quickly. Well, if you got a job and you got only that in life, you better learn how to love it. And when you love that one, you're going to have another one. You're going to have the personal initiative to get another job, you know, and that's the way it's possible to change your mind. You know, personal initiative, self-confidence, and all the first chapter we study. It's all for that, you know. If you want to succeed, you have to learn to love what you got in the present moment, to change what you have to change each day. That's the law of success. You change each day. That's the best way to don't procrastinate and make good plan. Plan what they are possible to do with your personal budget. You don't overpass what you got. You don't stress. You don't got anxiety, and you take the time, the good time, to do what you have to do. And each move is counting. That's very. For me, it was very important to understand that kind of way of life. So thank you very much.
Well, this brings us to the next step in our description of the exact procedure that we must follow in developing initiative and leadership.
I wanted to share a thought because as I was thinking of Ashley, I was trying to find out what can we say in the laws of success that may put an imprint in your subconscious mind, Ashley. And if I may, you know, of course, we have to understand that the only way to get happiness is by giving it away. Our hope is that we have been doing that over the last 3 years. And the same applies to development of initiative, because you see, we can best develop the essential quality in ourselves by making it our business to influence those people that are around us in doing the same. Please understand that, because see, and then this next statement, it is a well-known fact that we learn better when we endeavor others to teach them the things that we are learning. And by doing this, you're embracing something within yourself. And the best thing that you can do is to get a group of people like-minded, and we all should be a leader in our own field of endeavor. So the question is, how many masterminds do we have to have? You know, your religious, your family, and then get a group of people, and you become the leader. And then in this way, we all grow together. Can you agree on that, Matt?
Yes, we all grow together. Yep. In the field of salesmanship, you know, it is well-known fact that no salesman is successful in selling others until he has first made a good job of selling himself.
You got that
No
right.
salesman can do his best to sell others without sooner or later selling himself that which he is trying to sell to others.
Because see, what happens is that any statement that we repeat over and over with a purpose behind it, to induce others to believe in, we also start believing in it. And whether it's good or not, it has stickability to it when you believe in something.
That's right. We can see the advantages, Hugo, of making it our business to talk initiative, think initiative, eat initiative, sleep initiative, and practice initiative. By doing so, we're becoming a person of initiative and leadership. For it is a well-known fact that people will readily, willingly, and voluntarily follow the person who shows by his actions that he is a person of initiative.
You got that right. You know, I have tested this theory over and over and over and over. You know, in the place where we work or in the community in which we live, you know, we come in contact with so many people, and we need to make it our business to take an interest in them, or at least those who will listen to us, so that they may develop this thing called initiative. And it's not necessarily just to give the reason for doing this. Nor do you have to go around and announce it to everybody about it, because they might think you're crazy, but just go ahead and do it. Because what happens is in our own mind, we start to understand the principle. And then through practice, it helps us in our will, not only to influence others, but in ourselves. And in reality, it doesn't do any harm to do so.
So if we wish to try an experience that will both prove interesting and profitable to us, let us pick out a person of our acquaintance whom we know to be a person that never does anything that he is expected to do, and then start selling him on our idea of initiative. Do not stop by merely discussing the subject once. Keep it up every time you have a convenient opportunity. Approach the subject from a different angle each time. If you go at this experiment in a tactful and forceful manner, we will soon observe a change in the person on whom we are trying the experiment. And we will observe something else of more importance still. You will observe a change in ourselves.
941. Do not fail to try this experiment. At the end of the day, you know, we can't talk initiative to others without first developing that desire and practicing it within ourselves. Because see, through the operation of this thing called auto-suggestion, every single statement that we make to others, it leaves an imprint in our own subconscious mind. And this holds good, whether it's true or not, whether the statement is false or true.
Well, we've heard the saying, he who lives by the sword will die by the sword. And interpreted, this means that we are constantly attracting to ourselves and weaving into our own characters and personalities those qualities which our influence is helping to create in others. So if we help others develop the habit of initiative, we, in turn, develop this same habit. But if we sow the seeds of hatred and envy and discouragement in others, we in turn develop these qualities in ourselves. This principle through which a man comes to resemble in his own nature those whom he most admires is fully brought out in Hawthorne's story, The Great Stone Face, a story that every parent should have his offspring read.
And we now come to the next step in the description of the exact procedure that we got to do in order to develop this initiative and leadership. And then by then, the call should end. So stick around. We still got a little bit more. Tell us about what is that third one?
Well, before we go further, Hugo, let it be understood what is meant by the term leadership, as it is used in connection with this reading course. Now, there are two brands of leadership, and one of them is deadly and destructive, as the other is helpful and constructive. The deadly brand, which leads not to success, but to absolute failure, is the brand adopted by pseudo-leaders who force their leadership on unwilling followers. Now, it will not be necessary here to describe this brand or to point out the fields of endeavor to which it is practiced, with the exception of the field of war. And in this field, we will mention but one notable example, that of Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill was a leader.
Napoleon Bonaparte.
Napoleon Bonaparte, yeah, that other guy. Crazy. No doubt about that. You're right. They say that Napoleon Hill was a little crazy too, but not as crazy as this other guy. But he did lead his followers and himself to destruction. And those details are recorded in history. You can study them if you choose.
It's not Napoleon's brand of leadership that is recommended in this course. Although he will admit that Napoleon possessed all the necessary fundamentals for great leadership, excepting one: he lacked the spirit of helpfulness to others as an objective. His desire for the power that comes through leadership was based solely upon self-aggrandizement. His desire for leadership was built upon personal ambition and not upon the desire to lift the French people to a higher and nobler station in the affairs of nations.
I love this next statement. Ashley, would you like to say it?
This brand of leadership that is recommended through this course of instruction is the brand which leads to self-determination and freedom and self-development and enlightenment and justice. This is the brand that endures. For example, and as a contrast with the brand of leadership through which Napoleon raised himself into prominence, consider our own American commoner, Lincoln. The object of his leadership was to bring truth and justice and understanding to the people of the U.S. Even though he died a martyr to his belief in this brand of leadership, his name has been engraved upon the heart of the world in terms of loving kindliness that will never bring aught but good into the world.
Continue. Finish.
Yes, both Lincoln and Napoleon led armies in warfare, but the object of their leadership were as different as night is different from day. If it would give you a better understanding of the principles upon which this reading course is based, you could easily be cited to leadership of today, which resembles both the brand that Napoleon employed and that which Lincoln made the foundation of his life work. But this is not essential. Your own ability to look around and analyze men who take the leading parts in all lines of endeavor is sufficient to enable you to pick out the Lincoln as well as the Napoleon types. Your own judgment will help you decide which type you prefer to emulate.
There can be no doubt in our minds as to the brand of leadership that is recommended in reading this course. And there should be no question in our minds as to which of the two brands described we will adopt as our brand. Now, there's no recommendations on this subject, however, for the reason that this reading course has been prepared as a means of laying before its students the fundamental principles upon which power is developed, and not as a preachment on ethical conduct. Presented is both the constructive and the destructive possibilities of the principles outlined in this course, so that we may become familiar with both. But we leave entirely to our own discretion the choice and application of these principles, believing that our own intelligence will guide us to make a wise selection.
That ends it for today. I think it's a good point to stop. Don't you think?
Yeah. Ashley, what page are you on in your PDF?
I think there are several PDFs linked together, so on page 23.
Oh, so I see what you're saying by several.
Yeah, there's several chapters linked together.
Broken down into the different laws, must be.
Yes.
I gotcha. Well, that's, we do a round table at the end of every call, and the round table gives us an opportunity to share our thoughts that we've had and to build on thoughts that have been shared. And there's really a lot to be said for initiative and leadership. I said earlier, it's number 4 on the laws of success. But I just know that for me, nothing comes unless I'm willing to go out and make it happen. One of my buddies used to say, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And that was his motto that he lived by. I know that we're in a creative universe and that the law of creation is always at play, and that we can take the opportunity to harness that law of creation and create good in our lives, or we can take that law of creation and harness bad in our lives. So with that, like our author said, I want to harness good. I don't want to harness bad, negative mojo. So that initiative that I have, that internal initiative, gets me going in the right direction so I can you know, take advantage of the cosmic habit force that keeps things hopping. So thank you for the opportunity to share that with you.
Thank you, sir. All right.
Thank
Whoever,
you.
whoever goes last is the speaker of the night. So, having said that,
Well, Mr. Rigo. Personal initiative and leadership. It's a quite a chapter. Huh? I think in this mastermind, everybody got that somewhere inside him. And with the self-confidence, we got the possibility to make that grow inside us and show up everywhere we have to be each day and do better than the last day, you know, because with personal initiative, you're gonna make a plan, you're gonna do something to arrive at what you want. And a good leader, it's always like that. You're gonna find the people around you, and you're gonna give them initiative to helping you to finish what you start. It's simple like that. But it's so tough to do sometimes, you know, and because failure it's always there. We got a chapter in about failure in the law of success, and we have to accept it like a spring boat. You know, you're gonna get higher after that. That's for sure. So for that, if you got initiative, you're gonna look at your failure, you're gonna admit it, you're gonna go see where you fail and why you fail. Sometimes the exterior even make you fail. Sometimes it's the way you talk or the way the people around you understand you. You know, misunderstanding is very powerful today. So, you know, with personal initiative and leadership, you're going to take the lead who is good for you, and you're going to transfer it to your team or for you or your family and your personal project, and you're going to succeed. That's what I always think. And you're going to succeed very good in many ways in your life. It takes time because we don't learn that in school or maybe in military school, but it's not the same kind of leadership, but it's a leadership. And succeed in many ways in your life. It's always for that I am in that mastermind, and I hope everybody gonna stay on it. Thank you very much, and have a good night.
Thank you, Andre.
I'll go next. So Ashley, you gotta go last. I know ladies go first, but this is your time to shine.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
You just chill out. Maybe you get some ideas from this one. Well, let us be blessed that we have developed a desire for initiative. We learned tonight that through the operation of auto-suggestion, every statement that we make to ourselves is going to leave an imprint in our subconscious mind, whether it's going to be for good or for bad. Because you see, we are constantly attracted to ourselves and weaving into our own character those personalities and those qualities, which is going to influence us to help others create that on their own. Because see, what happens is if we help enough others to develop the habit of initiative, and thank you for taking initiative tonight, my dear, you're going to in turn develop that habit within yourself. You know, if we were going to sow the seed of hatred and envy in our brother man, what happens is that in turn we receive the same in kind. There's a law of retaliation that takes care of that. Now, as we look into this term of leadership, let us take the time to distinguish the two types of branches of leadership. Because see, one is based on vanity, and there is no I in team. Understand that. Get the vanity out of it. And then there's another one that is based on love. So let us be blessed that we have at least taken a look at this chapter of self-confidence, because we understand now that no one can become an efficient leader without having initiative and be ready to take and undertake anything in life with enough self-confidence. See, the kind of leadership that we're looking for, again, is the one that that develops through justice and kindness towards others. And let us be thankful that we heard about Lincoln. He practiced the golden rule, because at the end of the day, what happens is this. I'm a painter, I hope to be a writer, but no matter what you do in life, wherever you put a pen and paper, none will strive to surpass or slander you, because what happened is we're going to get so good at this laws of success. And the first one is by going the extra mile. So please understand this. Cherish that vision that you have and all those dreams that are laying between your soul, because those are the children of your future achievement. They're the blueprints of that ultimate achievement. And as to cooperation, thank you for being here, because we understand that without cooperating with each other, we might not be able to get ahead in life. I'll leave it at that for tonight. Go ahead, Ashley. Take over.
Thank you, everyone, for your thoughts and Hugo's challenge for me to take on the initiative and leadership. I see what you're doing, and it's awesome. So some thoughts on leadership and initiative, and I think one thing that it's always great to start with is the intention behind whatever endeavor we take on, because we can create a vision, a long-term goal, definite aim, and create that endpoint, but there are many paths to get there and what path to take. And I think that if we're clear on who we are, it's much helpful in terms of which path is the right path to take. Now, we don't have to do it the right way or wrong way. I guess if you look at Napoleon and Lincoln, those are two different paths that wound up at they both caused really different results, but it was a form of leadership, right? And so you can still be a leader, but what does it come down to? What are your values? And I think that's part of creating a definite aim that is in line with values, that really is for the good of others and being a contribution. And so when we craft our vision, it could come from one of two places. You know, Hugo had mentioned fear. That is a fear base, you know, being self-focused, that does come from a place of fear, or it could be a place of love, right? Love for other people, humanity, being a contribution to the world. Dark and light, you know, self for others, you know, it's a really fine line between the two. But if you're clear on your values, it's much clearer which path to take to realize that ultimate, definite chief aim or goal. So I think it's really important where, you know, what the intention is, but I think it is a lifelong process. You know, Andre had mentioned a diploma in initiative, right? I think it's a lifelong process to continue forward and develop initiative. Meaning it's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to take on this action today, talk to someone about what I'm doing, you know, or, you know, take my concept and turn it into action. But on the days that it's harder, where it's maybe harder to get up in the morning, or you face defeat in terms of no's, or even a loss in financial means towards a goal, it can be really disheartening. And I think that it's really important along the way that initiative also means, what are you going to do in the valleys? It's very easy to take initiative when you're inspired, you're on the uphill and the mountaintop, but another thing to when you're in the valley. And so I think that's an important part. Another side of initiative, can you rally yourself? And I think that's the one thing about these different chapters, as I'm learning, kind of going through it all, and why I'm sure Napoleon Hill put auto-suggestion and self-confidence as one of the primary chapters first. In addition to getting a mastermind together and the cooperation of others, you really need other people to accomplish this dream and goal. And, you know, that's what leadership is all about, being able to rally others to your goal and inspiring others. I mean, I'm laughing here, you know, I had myself on mute, but I was laughing at the challenge that this book tells you to cause someone else to take initiative, right? I think I might take a look at that, how I can inspire others to do that. what a fun experiment, right? To see, you know, how you can try different ways to get someone to move forward. And that's all part of leadership, you know, taking, you know, steps forward together versus taking steps back.
Amen. And with that, we end this call. Thank you very much. Andrea, would you like to say the prayer?
No.
Oh,
Gonna say-
divine providence, we
Yes.
ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to use the riches you gave us at birth,
Amen to that.
consisting in the power and vision to control and direct our own minds. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Another nice, interesting, powerful call. So thank you very much, everybody, to be there. And I truly appreciate all your presence. Okay.